Over the last 12 months, I have been building my dream home here in Bali, Indonesia. I'm gonna share with you the entire process from A to Z. And one thing you'll come to see is this home has been built the complete opposite way of all investment properties. This place was built with love, not financial spreadsheets. My home in the jungle. Now, as you know, we're not cutting a single corner on this home, but the truth is, this is the first home I've ever built, which is exactly why I've partnered with the best people on this project, but I also need to learn the industry. And that's why today, I'm gonna be taking you with me as we go and visit the world's largest interior design convention, known as Salone Del Mobile, and I'm gonna show you the showroom of one of the top furniture design companies of this world. No joke, they've been a massive source of inspiration for so much that you're about to see inside of Las Villa. But before we go to Italy, we have one other flight. We gotta make a trip all the way over to Surabaya across Indonesia to visit Southeast Asia's top stone supplier. It's a loaded video and I got a lot to show you, but before I can show you where the villa's at, I gotta rewind us about 6 months. All right, this is a big day, guys. In terms of finishings, there's one that makes a massive, massive difference, and that's the flooring. Whoa! I wasn't expecting that. It's literally done. As you can see, it's very much in a rough state. So what they'll end up doing is basically sanding it down. And then from there, there'll be a lacquer applied to give it a nice glossy finish. And then you guys are installing plywood now.
Yeah, the base of the ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So today, I have flown to Gallery's warehouse here in Surabaya to show you literally the largest supplier of stone in all of Southeast Asia. As a kid, one of my favorite shows was How It's Made. It was a fascinating behind the scenes to how factories made things. And today, I am up close and personal on set with Gallery. This is a small preview of all of the finishings that are yet to be considered for Las Villa. We're talking about everything from marble, quartz. I mean, literally there's an onyx bathtub right there all lit up. And this is the man that built the company. Peter. But before we could see how it was processed, it all started off with a visit to the showroom floor, where they had an endless selection of the world's finest stones. This is the company that's supplying the Cartiers, the Louis Vuittons, and basically all the high-end designer brands with their beautiful stone display work. But ultimately today, I want to exhaust all options that I have for how to make the Las Villa at the best that it can be.
Showroom in the world that show how stone interact with light.
Wow. Oh my god. Wow. So you can see quartz here when it's illuminated from behind. All the veins, you can see the natural patterns. And this is Grace. Grace is showing us around. Cheers.
Cheers. Welcome to Gallery.
Okay, go for it. Wow. They have turned a sheet of onyx into this beautiful ceiling. Imagine that, walking through Las Villa with that above you. I don't know the cost just yet, so a lot of this is in dreamland. We're trying to build a very special house, but I'm trying not to go broke on it too. Now there's a lot of stone suppliers in this world, but very few are at this level. Gallery isn't just a warehouse of stones, they're also on the leading edge of stone innovation. I bet you didn't know you could bend marble. Yeah, I didn't either. This is how it started. This is the raw material. Yes. When I think of stone, I think of something that is unchangeable. But apparently you can actually bend it. So the best way to show you how much I have to look at today is to stand above it. You're looking at about 4,000 plus different kinds of stones. I see you love what you do.
Oh, I have to. It's a passion.
31 years of loving stones.
I'm only 27 today.
You're 27, yeah. Guys, there it is. This is what we're using for the island. Peter was explaining to me that basically this is all just hand chipped away and carved by his team. Imagine putting it vertically, placing 2, 3, 4 of these side by side, and so you basically could create an entire mural that looks like a solid rock face. Yeah, you can see how it shimmers. And that, honestly, if there's one thing that I'm looking for on this trip to Surabaya, it's what stone would I do for the living room? Because I think this is going to be a very cool statement piece.
Here we have all 14 different group of stone that is commercialable. We have the travertine like this, is actually a marble or limestone.
Limestone gets compressed and becomes marble, is that right?
Yes.
I spent my childhood like learning Pokemon, but you were learning rocks.
So marble is not young, okay?
So if
it's
I
about
wait
500 million years.
Look, I can make a full video about the family tree of rocks, but that's not why you're here. But what I will say is, this is a stone from Italy. It's actually a pietra. And I love it. I can see this being a potential fit for the living room. That's pretty cool. Now this is actually a local stone, so it does come from Indonesia, and it's also a marble. I really like it. Now, can you find different colors of it? Like, is there a creamier?
A little bit darker, a little bit lighter, a little bit greener. That's natural.
Yeah.
Very natural. It's shifting.
Wow. I think for the sake of the story, I mean, I would love for Lost Villa to mostly be Indonesian marble finishes. It just has a bit more of a authentic feel to that. So at this stage, we're probably all wondering, what is the most expensive of all of the stones in here? And it's right in front of me. This is a Brazilian stone by the name of lapis lazuli. And you can see here, it's got these amazing like electric blue veins. It literally has a story being told right in front of us here. Do you guys manufacture furniture? Yeah. All right, we're going in deep. This is really cool. I'm actually planning to do the same in Lost Villa. So we want to fuse plywood with a beautiful stone on the front to give a facade of this really modern but yet very kind of rugged kitchen. Wow. 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 This is the staff bathroom.
Onyx.
Wow. Peter has worked stone into shapes you wouldn't even believe. I mean, quite literally, I'm looking at a table and you can see the way he's actually bent the marble. Now, it's time to see how it's made. So, we got in the car and drove about an hour away to the factory, where the magic really happens. And this is something I'm really interested to see. The raw materials get loaded onto a boat, sent across the ocean from Brazil, Madagascar, Italy. Peter, you should have your own reality show.
You should. You're the expert.
I'll help you film it. I have such like a childlike excitement for this. I mean, it just brings the project of Lost Villa to life for me, because it's one thing to just get a design from an architect, but it's another thing to be able to feel and see the materials. And this is such an incredible story that's being built into Lost Villa right now. What am I looking at, Peter? What is that?
The gang saw to cut the big block into slabs.
Tell me that isn't the hardest thing you've ever heard. A gang saw. It's like a locomotive. How long does it take?
7 to 8 hours.
Wow. Seeing the finished products was impressive, but seeing how it's all brought together gave me a whole new light of appreciation. Taking thousands of pounds of solid material and refining them into an elegant finish. And seeing the pure manpower that goes into these processes and the innovation, I felt like a kid in a candy shop. I was so caught up looking at all the rocks that I missed the biggest one. That right there, that's Indonesia for you. Volcanoes everywhere. As you guys know, 3 years ago I launched Lost Creator Academy, or as we call it, LCA. But finally, LCA is ready to move into a different lineup of products, power saws. Didn't see that coming, did you?
You know what is the difference? That is solid one, this is bended. So you can leave it.
Wow.
That one I cannot.
Peter's been working out. This thing's like 400 pounds.
Hercules. Oh.
As I left the factory, Peter invited me to his office and left me with this beautiful gift to take a little bit of Gallery back to Bali. The good news is, there's gonna be a lot more stone where this came from. It's crazy. Every time I come to the site, something new. The ceiling is all done up now. So the next step is to put on a second layer of plywood, but this one is a decorative one. Now, one of the things that I underestimated is how much work is going to be involved in the finishing phase for me. Because as you might know, I've got a contractor, I've got a landscape designer, I've got an interior designer, and then I had an architect that designed this place. So there's all these parties that are all needing different things. For the most part, there's like fairly clear communication going between the lines, but there's a lot of moments where I am kind of the person needing to come in and make decisions. An example might be the cabinets. You know, there are 100 different cabinet makers, and I can just go with the ones the contractors recommend, or if I want to do some price hunting, that's gonna fall on me. My appliances in the kitchen, Do I use Samsung, Panasonic? Do I use a local brand? These are the questions that, again, are on me. And because I'm a little bit inquisitive and definitely not the kind of person to just sign off and pay and pay and pay, I want to weigh out the value. I want to know what the difference is between the $5,000 kitchen setup and the $50,000 kitchen. Today's meeting was a little bit sobering. It's a realization that I need to hurry up. A lot of my design choices have slowed things down, and I'm at risk of adding more time if I don't get some decisions made. So I'm grinding, I'm hustling with Stefan to finalize a lot of the interior touches. A few important sign-offs and a few expensive down payments later, I could safely leave the build on autopilot and in the hands of Fatin, which was great because I was about to go overseas for 5 months. Now this is the part where Las Villa goes international. As usual, Ruby and I boarded another flight. We had a quick trip to the Philippines, swam with the sardines, and got more than enough of our blue water fix, and then we boarded our next flight, heading to the city of fashion and design. Welcome to Milano, home of Salone Del Mobile. Now I wasn't the only one that flew over to Salone, so did this guy. The man, the myth, the legend. Hey. Good to finally meet in person after countless Zoom calls and everything being done online with this amazing team. Stefan is the owner and creator of Single Art. But with that, we're going to be exploring through Salone together, getting a ton of inspo for not just this design for Las Villa, but also for what's to come next, which I'll tell you about later.
So what I've done here, it's a small present. You have the logo of the Lost Villa, the one that I created with Midjourney.
Yeah.
And I did it in bronze.
Oh wow, that feels good.
In the wood.
Thank you, Stefan. That's super cool.
My pleasure.
So, as an interior designer, this must be like Disneyland?
Oh, of course, this is Disneyland for interior designers because you have so many brands and so many novelties.
And this is the moment I realized it's gonna be a long day. We're never gonna see it all. Yeah, that's one pavilion. This is another pavilion. And there's roughly 12 to 14 of these. I'm gonna regret having all these layers. Now, one of the first stages of Las Villa was like a Japanese-inspired villa. As times progressed, it's kind of edged further and further away, more towards a bit of a Mayan Tulum look. But one chair here that has a lot of Japanese inspo in my eyes is this, and I love this bar stool. You might be thinking, you know, I went to IKEA once. What are those chairs? 50 bucks, 100 bucks? Let's play a little game. Guess the price. Yeah, that's gonna be a bit of a trend here. Whatever you expect the price to be, 10x it. I was geeking out hard on all this furniture. See, with video you can see the unique designs, but what you can't feel is the texture and just how damn solid these pieces are. It might seem crazy to spend 25 times more for a piece of furniture than you could get at IKEA, but when you're there in person with these pieces, that price starts to make a little bit more sense. Not completely, but a bit more. Now, this isn't just a place to see high quality furniture made with precious materials. It's also got some amazing tech and innovation, as I saw a kitchen worthy of James Bond, with hidden cabinets, disappearing doors, and a price tag that would leave you dead.
Nice.
So one of the things that I've really come to appreciate is the intricacy of high quality woodwork. So this is multiple pieces of wood merged together, but it creates this continuous bend. It feels like one piece of wood. Actually, this piece is literally perfect for Las Villa.
Yeah, it's sliding.
Woo! I don't know where this would go, maybe like the front entrance, but something like this would be very cool. Something I've seen a lot of in the exterior design world is this right here. So you've got kind of like this ropey mesh material and a really comfy cushion. And these are meant to be water resistant, right?
Yeah, sun UV resistant also.
I gotta say though, living in Bali, the climate is going to destroy whatever you put out there. You get baking hot sun, followed by pouring rain, followed by humidity. It's just not very kind to anything. So I'd be very concerned about how well this would fare in the long run. But in terms of style, this is what we're currently planning for Las Villa. A very beautiful piece. Wow. And the nuclear bunker, you just press up there. It just opens a little trap door beneath here. It's so funny, when you look around, it's just a giant showroom of people touching things. Like, every piece of furniture doesn't exist until you've had a chance to touch it. Okay, yeah, that's nice. Not allowed to touch it?
No, it's not possible.
Okay, we'll break it. This is the dream desk. It's got all these leather drawers with amazing wood, all the best materials under the sun right here. I would get a lot of business done here. So this right here is pretty cool. Check this out. Not only that, you've actually got dimming control. You can swipe up, swipe down, however you want to do it. You control this beautiful quartz lighting right behind me. Comes with a bit of a price tag, as you can probably imagine, but imagine that, what a flex. So some of the technology that Stefan's telling me about that's getting scary good is printing technology. And so things like glass can now be printed out into a pseudo marble. And even here, sitting right in front of it, I have to take a second to ask myself if it is. But this is just glass that has had all of the stone textures printed on. It's pretty remarkable, actually. Fresh off the lot, one of these couches are gonna set you back anywhere from 30, 40, and 50,000 US dollars. And that's not even the high point. They can go well beyond that. At the end of the day, these aren't just furnishings, these are art pieces. It's the reason people will pay figures that for some just don't make sense. This screams Lost Villa. This kind of imperfect, rough surfaced brass texture. And check this out. So you pop it open. This is actually just wood, but the front facade is this tiny little thin layer of the metal. So Stefan has actually designed Lost Villa right now to have a lot of these detailings made out of kind of this like pseudo brass. And now the next challenge begins, which is to figure out who can manufacture and supply the high-end furnishings and the finishings that we need to bring Lost Villa to that next premium tier level. Basking in the sun. Just relaxing, just your beautiful bed and a couple hundred strangers. Stefan, we conquered what? Maybe 1/8?
Not even.
Oh my God.
8%, 7% of the...
That's insane. By the end of day one, I had seen at least 100 different brands and heard just as many incredible stories of how these brands came to be. My feet were sore, but my heart was full. It was the start of the second day, and we spent the entire morning running around the Salone, visiting epic vendors of all kinds and taking so much inspiration for the Lost Villa's interior and furniture pieces. Now there's a lot of showrooms at Salone, but a lot of big brands also have their own private showrooms in Milano. So we left early to go and visit what is easily one of the world's finest chandelier and lighting brands. This is Bocce. Now funny backstory, this is Max, and his dad founded Bocce. Well, it turns out we're both from Vancouver, Canada. And one coincidence led to another. The really crazy part was, I went to the same high school as his dad, and we grew up about 5 minutes apart from each other. Their brand new Milano showroom blew me away. It's awe-inspiring to see the use of artistic lighting and how it can bring so much warmth and expression to any space. It made me wonder, why don't you see this in more homes? But the truth is, I found out why. Fabricating handmade glass chandeliers is a serious process, and it takes immense skill, time, and resources. So it's not much a surprise that these lights also cost big money. Wow, here we are in the Jesse showroom.
So when I show you the showroom, it's probably a little bit of a surprise, because when we think about the things that go in our homes, the faucets, we often don't give much of a second thought. But this is set up like any design show would be, like a fashion show. What makes these faucets so unique is, for one, the shapes. This one's like a little raindrop, very elegant, long and tall, and there's a similar one here that actually comes from the ceiling all the way to the sink itself, which is actually a style we're adopting for the master bedroom in Lost Villa. We're gonna actually look into ways to get it custom built to achieve the same look. These are their outdoor showers, and you can see here, you've got like an LED light. Of course, you can change the color.
Our next stop was to visit the showroom of a company that took something as mundane and unexceptional as light switches and turned it into something extraordinary. This is PLH, and Stefan has been sending me their work for the last few months. Let me show you why their switches won't just turn your lights on, they'll also turn you, anyways. We're so used to seeing ordinary plastic and occasionally aluminum details, but when you see the premium metals they use, you can't help but stare. Now, will I be using PLH in Lost Villa? Maybe someday, but let's just say it's a small fortune to get one-of-a-kind goods like this. So for now, I think it's gonna stay a dream. And this is the owner, Enrico, that has made this beautiful vision a reality. Now, last but far from least, Stefan has introduced me to many incredible design brands over the months, but there's none that have truly inspired me like this one. This is Henge. And they're an Italian furniture brand that doesn't make furniture. They make practical art. A sculpture you can sit on, a tapestry you can eat on, and a glass miracle that can light up your home. Using precious materials and top-of-the-line craftsmanship, they create rugged and daring pieces that are out of this world. I don't know about you, but they got me excited about furniture and home design in ways I never knew possible. A lot of their style has inspired the way we're designing Lost Villa, and I hope someday a home of mine will have a piece of Henge inside of it. I think at the end of the day, when people build homes, what are they building? They're building an emotional space, a place that surrounds them with memories, with stories, and you just don't get that when you buy something from IKEA. I understand why this is art and not just furniture. It's been an amazing trip to not just connect over the upcoming projects, but also to become real friends.
Me too. Happy to have you here, and it was an amazing time together.
If there's one thing that I learned from Salone Del Mobile, it's that these are not traditional pieces of furniture. They're art. In a world of mass production, these are some of the few remaining artisans on the planet. People that still make things with their hands, follow tradition that's been passed on from generation to generation. In fact, almost a dozen of the brand owners that I spoke to actually inherited this business from their parents or their grandparents. In fact, I spoke to half a dozen of these different showroom owners, and they told me the same thing. This was legacy. They were building and manufacturing in the exact same way generations did before them. And when you buy a piece of furniture like that, you're not just buying a chair to sit on or a table to eat at. You're buying a piece of history. You're buying into a story. You see, it's easy to build a house. Put up 4x4 walls, put a bed inside of it, and you're halfway there. But to build a home, that's hard. A home is a place that's been built with love, with emotion. It's that very same care and love for the details that I believe makes Lost Villa a truly one-of-a-kind property. In fact, I don't know anything else like it. And it's that same attention to detail that I'm gonna be putting into the next set of properties, literally right there. 3 designs later, in fact, a couple of them were fully developed and then abandoned, we have finally gotten to the final stages where we are so damn proud of what we're about to show you. I know it's not much, but we're finally there. More details will come, an exact date will soon be shared, but one thing's for sure, we're not gonna make any compromises, so I'll keep you posted. I hope you guys enjoyed nerding out on this as much as I have. As you can see, I'm truly passionate about what I do, and that is the way to live life, is to find the things that you can really sink your teeth into. And I'm so excited that we're just months away from opening this place up, pushing hard to get it ready for my parents to come for Christmas. Let's get lost again in the next one.